so much for jumping on because, I've seen you from afar. We haven't actually met before in person. So this is the first time we're having a conversation. I love doing this. And, I'm just really excited to hear about what brought you into the spiral world. I don't know who your spiral practitioner was. I don't know how you found this work. I don't know who you were before you started the spiral. All I do know is that you're a spiral practitioner. You're super passionate about this work. You're always showing up online, sharing about it. To my knowledge, you did do the advanced training last year, the spiral practitioner training last year. So, I can see some spiral practitioners tuning in as well. Hi, Erica. So, I would just love to hear a little bit about your journey. When did the spiral find you, and what was life like back then?
For sure, yeah. So I went through the spiral in, I guess it was last year. Yeah, last year. It seems like it was so long ago, but it's like it really wasn't that long ago. I guess kind of like fast forward back a little bit before that, I used to be a paramedic, and I ended up leaving that career and kind of taking some time off to kind of refigure out what I wanted to do. I was in network marketing, so kind of seeing the online space in the online world, and also part of being in like the healing space with nutrition. And being in that space, I knew that I wanted to do something online, but I didn't know what it was. And I knew that I always wanted to help people, and I wanted to start my own business and be a coach. And so right before I got introduced to the spiral, which was with Julia Simone, who I met through the health and wellness company that we partnered with. And I was just feeling really stuck. The kind of common thing with the spiral was that I was feeling stuck in my business, my relationships, kind of everything just kind of felt like things were falling apart. And so it was interesting. I had put out to the universe or God or whatever we want to kind of call it, that I was looking for a mentor, and I was working with another coach for a little bit, but something inside of me just was kind of like, you need to end this contract that you have right now. There's something else coming in for you. And I was just like, okay, like there's something else coming in. And it was funny because when I ended it with my other coach, and she's a good friend of mine, Melissa, I was like, I honestly can't tell you why. Like, I don't know why I'm ending this, but it's just intuitively, like, I know there's something else coming in. And that week, Crystal Lee, who's also a spiral practitioner, and I know her through Isogenics as well. I wasn't at that point good friends with either of them. And they had both reached out to me in the exact same week to reconnect. And I was like, okay, this is a sign. So I chatted with Crystal. She told me all about her spiral journey because she had just went through it with Julia, and she was having amazing shifts in her life. She moved to Mexico. She met the love of her life, and all of this stuff. And I was just like, oh my gosh, her energy was just so lit. And I'm just like, okay, like, I don't know what this is about. This sounds awesome. And then
but I'll have what she's having.
Right? I know. I will take a dose or two of whatever you're doing, whatever it is, like, I'll do it. And so I connected with Julia as well, just shortly after that. And I decided to go through it with Julia, just because she was such like her energy, like there was just something about Julia's energy. It was just so grounded and so feminine and so like put together. And so I went through the spiral with her, and it was actually kind of fun because when I started going through it, we actually ended up taking a road trip to Canmore out in Alberta to the mountains together. So some of the sessions we actually got to do in person, which was just amazing. And I had so many shifts going through it. It was insane because when I was on the sessions, I knew nothing about muscle testing before or anything like that. And after the sessions, I would just feel so much energetically lighter. And I was like, I didn't even remember what we even talked about during the sessions, and it didn't matter because I felt so much energetically lighter. And I was having massive breakthroughs of like, I remember going through level 3 about boundaries, and I'm like chronic people pleaser in the past, because now I'm like nailing boundaries and like it feels so good to be able to do that. But chronic people pleaser, and I just always put other people's needs before myself. So that was massive when I started having these big breakthroughs and things that I knew I had to do. But for some reason, it was just like there was a wall there holding me back from what I wanted to do. Because in reality, it's like the action steps are the same for any goal. Like we know what we have to do. It's just there's something there energetically that's blocking us from actually taking the action to what we want to do. And so my intention going through it was with business. But the biggest thing that I actually gained out of my first time through the spiral was my relationship with myself. Sorry, my phone keeps dimming, I think, because
That's
because the
okay.
battery's gonna
You
die. So I have
still,
to keep like touching my phone.
that's totally fine, honey. You're still bright and shiny. Don't worry. Yeah.
Perfect.
You're also,
Yeah, so
yeah,
it's just like,
yeah.
sorry, I was just gonna say it was like really it was the relationship with myself that shifted and understanding my own value and my own self-worth, which was just for me was huge. And I didn't even realize that that was something that I really needed until my confidence started kind of coming out. And now I've been through it a couple of times now. I went through I'd helped out with the prac training, so I went through it, and then I went through my advanced prac training. And I was having a conversation with somebody just a couple of weeks ago, and I mentioned to him that I had came back to my soul, and he was like, "Oh, well, what does that mean?" And I was like, "To me, I feel like I'm finally, for the first time in my life, and I'm just about to turn 31, that I feel like I am my full authentic self, and I can be myself fully." You know, like I don't have to dim down my light or dim down who I am as a person because it's different than what the people are around me. And it's so freeing, you know, looking back, it was like, I didn't know that there was this other level of freedom out there because you don't know what you don't know. I just lived this life my whole life feeling like there was just like a weight on me and I could only do certain things because of the certain rules or the expectations or the judgments of others or the criticisms or just my own insecurities. So it really like going through it and doing all of the work that I did. Like I said, I went through it multiple times and did my advanced training, but it's just been truly transformational. So that's where my passion comes for sharing this with the world. And now I'm just like getting my group training done now. So I get to start offering group spiral. And I'm just like so excited to be able to offer this in my business. And it's funny because my original intention was for my business. However, we kind of have to figure out our own personal stuff first before we can start bringing our impact and our contribution to the world. So now it's like I'm finally in that place. And I say finally, it's perfect timing. But for me, like I felt like I knew that I had big dreams and big ambitions to create like a massive impact and contribution on the planet. And it seems like it's been forever for me to actually be able to step into this and be able to have clients and be able to start seeing them transform. And it just feels so rewarding. So it's been a really incredible journey. And for anybody listening to this that hasn't gone through the spiral or doesn't know what it is, like it will change your life for sure. If you go through it and you integrate the changes, like it's absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Totally resonating with what you're saying. You know, those parts of yourself that you don't even realize that you're dimming down or keeping small, because it's just the way you've always lived. And then suddenly you go through the spiral and things start unlocking and things start shifting and you start feeling lighter and you're expressing yourself in different ways. And I really, you know, I'm 32, just about to turn 33. You know, I'm running full time in my own business as well after years of dabbling in creative entrepreneurship and really pushing and really wanting it to work and just feeling like it all was like pushing energy, you know. It was hard. It was hard. It was hard to feel seen. It was hard for people to kind of like take what I was doing seriously. And then all of a sudden, you know, like as I kind of stepped into the spiral world, things just started taking off easier and easier and easier. And, you know, I can stand here today and I feel like I'm my fully expressed self. I feel like I have everything that I want in my life right now. And, you know, and the ability to create everything else that I want, you know? And it's so exciting what you said about, you know, it really starts with ourselves. We really do need to clear up our own stuff. And then from that place, we can start serving in full integrity through our businesses, especially if, you know, we've got our own business, because the personal and the professional are so intertwined. Like our stuff becomes our business stuff, you know? And so just having this tour and having this experience of going through and having all that cleared out is just incredible. And I can feel your vibrant energy just pouring through and how much life you have to give and the passion you would unlock in the people that you work with, which is really awesome.
Thank you so much. It's crazy like how you mentioned about like the force, and it's like so much flow. It's like life doesn't have to be as hard as we think that it has to be. It's like there is a new way, and when you get out of your own way, like the spiral, like clear your own shit, and you get out of your own way, like it's incredible, like just the flow and the ease that it brings into your life. And when it comes to creativity as well, like you said, like bringing creativity into your business and stuff like that. It's funny because I have always been a very logical person. Like total logic mind, sciences, being a paramedic, like things had to fit inside of a box or else it didn't make sense. And I never thought that I was a creative person. And just recently I kind of had that breakthrough where I was like, oh my gosh, no, like I am so creative. And it's all because I shifted all of those old stories from my past and my childhood that were holding me back from this. And it's just today, I just got into acting and I had my first workshop today. And it's something I never, ever thought that I would possibly be able to do. But I'm so excited to be able to channel my creative energy into that now, because I have so much that it's almost like I have too much energy for my own good that I can get myself in trouble. Because I'm like, I just need something to do and I'm so like busy. So it's like, yeah, I just wanted to share that, because if you're wanting creative energy, like this spiral is amazing.
Well, that's right. You know, like it's such an incredible process because it unlocks, you know, and upgrades our feelings of self-worth. And then there's creativity, there's power, there's expression, there's vision, purpose, there's openness to life and receiving. So it really just opens us up to so many different parts of ourselves. And it's interesting because I would say that my business is now 100% based on my creativity. You know, my whole business is my creativity, and supporting other people with my creativity. And if you'd asked me a few years ago if I was a creative person, I probably would have said no.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just really interesting how, you know, when you go through the spiral, certain things that you used to kind of label yourself or you were conditioned to believe about yourself start falling away, and you're like, oh, maybe I actually don't know everything about myself. Maybe there are other things that I can try. Like if I take off this mask or this label of like who I think I am, you know, what else is there? Well, maybe I want to be an actor. Maybe I want to do action classes, you know?
Yeah.
So, and I really love, it sounds like you were already living quite intuitively before you did the spiral. You know, the fact that you had that pull to just end the contract with the coach you were working with and just pivot and work with someone else through the spiral, like, you know, that shows you're already living in quite an intuitive way, because the mind can get in the way, but the unconscious is like trying to get us to where we want to go. And if we listen, we can kind of jump into those circumstances. So
for sure.
Yeah, it's just amazing. Now, someone here has actually asked, is going through the spiral a process of feeling calm and at peace, like you're in the eye of a hurricane? What would you say to that, Laura?
That's Mike. I actually know who that is. So hi, Mike. It has its moments, you know, the emotions of life are like this, right? So it's not always going to be that calm and peace. It's going to be the roller coasters. I like to explain the spiral, like almost like if every emotion kind of had like a pathway, you're kind of clearing out those pathways, right? Like the 22 emotions that you're clearing out the pathways so you can access them on a more fuller level, which opens your body up to your intuition and to the guidance system that we have within. So as you go through it, it can feel like a roller coaster because you're experiencing these emotions at a deeper level. So there are skills and stuff you have to learn in our humanness of how to actually use these emotions to our benefit, which I know for me made a huge difference. Mike, I can send you the book, Clear Your Shit, as well, because in there you can read through it and it can show them. I can also teach you self-clearing as well. But yeah, it just like it's going to be a roller coaster. But when you start accessing those higher states of vibration, when you get up to the love and the peace, like that's where you start finding this inner peace. But it's a frequency, right? So you may have glimpses of it and then you'll kind of integrate and it comes back down again. And it's like practice. It's like going to the gym and working out. When you get in meditation to that place of that inner peace, then you also have to practice it so that your body then can integrate that frequency so that it knows what it's looking for. So it's not just going to happen overnight where we're able to be at peace. And there's always stuff in our external environment that's happening, that's activating us all the time, right? So you may be in that place of inner peace and then you get a phone call and it's super high stress phone call or something, and then, or somebody says something to you and then you're triggered, activated, and then your emotions, like your frequency can go down because then we'll hold like shame or guilt or fear or the lower frequency ones. So it's always a roller coaster, but clearing them out really allows you to access your intuition more and your that guidance of what these emotions mean from my perspective.
Yeah, and like you said, it's going to the gym. So if you get really comfortable up in those higher frequencies and once you move through something difficult, you can kind of float back up there and be like, cool. So I can just kind of sit in peace and love most of the time now. And like sometimes I might jump down in the scale and feel other emotions, which is totally fine, or vibrate at a different frequency, which is totally normal. But your resting spot kind of changes, and the ease at which you can access those higher states is like, and feel all of your emotions, because as we know, it's not just about like always feeling like we're in an enlightened state or always feeling at peace, but just being able to be with all of our emotions and not having certain emotions blocked, because that's going to affect our progress in any area of our life that is linked with those emotions. Like, for example, self-worth is very much linked with wealth and money and things like that. So if the emotions that are linked to self-worth are blocked, then it's going to be hard to attract and allow in the things that we need self-worth for. So so it's just really cool hearing your perspective. And I want to circle back to the piece around people pleasing, because I do feel like that's actually been a little bit about my journey as well. Thank you. The person that asked that question said, thank you. Catching the emotions in the moment is a difficult skill for me. Join the club of humanity. So people pleasing is like a real thing. It's significantly lowers the quality of our lives when we're stuck in that loop and we're not actually freely choosing. So I'd love to hear if you want to share a little bit about what are some of the noticeable decisions that you're making differently now that you're not kind of in that people pleasing loop.
Oh my gosh, so much. I think almost every area of my life now, where it's like so like, I want to say like my way or the highway, but it is, it's like, does this align? And obviously it comes with a lot of communication and stuff like that. But if I know that something doesn't sit right with me and my body and my intuition, then I honestly, like, it's so uncomfortable for me to not do the thing anymore, So big thing in relationships and like even just when it comes to me managing my time, especially in business, it's been massive with my clients, like wanting to overserve and provide so much value, but then recognizing when my energy is getting pulled too much into that, and then having to set boundaries. And mainly the boundaries are with myself. They're not even really with my clients. It's like, Laura, like if your energy is feeling a little bit off because you're doing too much work, okay, you need to follow your own boundary that you had set with yourself. And you need to go and take some time away, get outside, go do a meditation, go do the things that actually keep me and my energy where I needed to be. So I think when it comes to the people pleasing, the biggest thing has been me maintaining my own personal care routine and that time, and not giving that time away to other people. It's like, that is my time, and I need that time in order to do those things for myself so that I can show up fully for my friends, for my family, for myself, for my work, my clients, everything for that. So it can be difficult sometimes, like being able to communicate our boundaries when it comes to people pleasing and like just saying yes. And I think that the biggest thing that worked for me was whenever somebody would make a request or ask me something, before I would impulsively say yes. And even just taking that brief moment to pause and just don't answer right away. Even if it's in person, just say like, I'm going to take some time to think about it. Even as something as simple as like going out with friends or something like that, because then I would like feel guilty if I said yes and then I would cancel, So it's like, instead now I just pause and I just actually tune in with myself before I impulsively say yes to things. And then that way it allows me that time to be like, do I actually want to do this or not? And then being able to communicate that to the person as to why I do or don't. And at the end of the day, the way that other people handle their emotions on the other end is up for them to deal with, and releasing that responsibility of me having to manage everybody in the world's emotions was like massive, because it's not my responsibility.
Yeah. And communicating our boundaries with loving kindness.
Exactly.
It doesn't make us responsible just because somebody has us. It doesn't mean that we actually have to fulfill that expectation, even though we can acknowledge it and be like, that's really nice. I have to take care of myself. And it is about that relationship with ourselves. I'm interested in whether you use muscle testing sometimes to tune in with yourself as to whether you're going to say yes or no to an opportunity or an invitation.
I actually don't normally for opportunities or invitations, but I'm always doing like chakra clears on myself, like, and even manifestation clears. And I'm going to be going through the spiral again here shortly because I'm helping out with the training with Safiria. So I use the tools all the time on myself, but not specifically for yes or no things.
That's amazing. You're going to be assisting again. So this will be like your fourth or fifth time going through the spiral in a little section of your life. Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, I think it'll be my third time going through the spiral, but then I went through the advanced prac training, so we did a bunch of clearing in that as well. Yeah.
That's so exciting. Just to answer the question, I actually do sometimes muscle tests to find out, like, do I want to go to that? Yes or no? I know I don't, you know.
Yeah.
I actually wanted to ask you because I know that you trained with Safiria last year. And as you know, many people watching would know, this is going to be Safiria's last training. So like she's going to be doing her last training in April for practitioners. You know, what was it like for you training with Safiria, and what would you say to people who are listening that are like on the fence or thinking about it?
Yeah, if you're thinking about it, Safiria is absolutely incredible. She truly is like a master at what she does. I really got to see it when I did my advanced prac training because she got to teach us how to hold space in a group, and you don't realize how much stuff goes on that you're paying attention to with group energetics. And she has just such an incredible way of reading the room and being able to manage all of the energies and facilitate the training. So if you're kind of on the fence, I would 100% say go for it. It's not going to be something that you regret for sure.
And you're going to be assisting next week at the Spiral Experience. Is that right?
Yeah, the 3-day one where they get to go through the spiral in 3 days.
That is amazing. So, of course, you know, anyone who's assisting will essentially be going through that vortex as well. But it's such a cool concept. And I know some people have gone through it. I personally haven't yet, but it just sounds incredible. So it's like going through the 7 levels of the spiral, which normally would be over 7 to 8 to 9 weeks, actually going through it in 3 days, held in a container. Safiria, the lead facilitator of the spiral for the last 7 years, and your beautiful self will be there alongside some other advanced spiral practitioners, and you'll be supporting the group essentially to go through the spiral and make sure that, you know, people are integrating each level because it's in such a short period of time.
Yeah.
And just that support. How exciting.
Yeah, I'm really excited. It's cool because like it's the group, so like I'll get to be putting people through in like groups of 4, and then there's some other advanced pracs helping as well. And I haven't personally been through the group container, but facilitating there's so much power in actually going through the spiral in the group. Like even when I was going through my training and we were doing our assessments, being able to see how everybody resonated with what the other person was sharing, moving through the levels. So it just like amplifies the energy of what's going on in that container. So the growth that I got going through, when am I saying I didn't go through the group? I did go through it when we were doing our assessments. And even in that, like I had massive revelations through even that. So doing it in the group with other people is just like so powerful.
Right, because you're not just having your own experience, you're also getting to witness and be there for other people's experiences and their learning and their insights, which would, it's essentially like you get to go through the spiral and observe it and and celebrate with other people as you go through. It just sounds like an incredible experience. So thank you so much for, you know, stepping in and stepping up to support in that.
Awesome. Oh, you're welcome. It's my pleasure.
Yeah, and you know, obviously, you know, people come in to do these experiences, to go through the spiral for a whole bunch of different reasons. And, you know, there'll be a lot of people signing up this weekend for a whole bunch of different reasons. What are some of the reasons that clients have come to you for, to say like, hey, I felt drawn to you, Laura. I want to go through the spiral, and this is what I would really love to get out of it.
Most of them are for like business. It's funny because I just had a client that just finished, and her initial thing was that she came in for like, she wanted help with marketing, but really what she needed was to clear like the underlying energies because she knew what she had to do, right? It's the exact same thing. But anybody who has a goal that is just feeling stuck or blocked with it, whether it's with your relationships, whether it's with business. But for me, most of the time it's with people for business and really wanting to bring some sort of contribution to the world through their business.
It's really just any area, isn't it? Because I mean, I remember when I went to spiral practitioner training, I really wanted a romantic relationship. And I was like, you know what? I've done all the workshops, I've done all the reading. I just want to understand, like, what is this block? Like, what energetically, let's just shift this. And so I remember that. But I went through the spiral originally because I was really excited about this idea of this, like, uncapped earning potential. And I was like, I wanted to raise my ability to attract wealth. And so, you know, the amazing thing is about the spiral is, like, every time you go through it, you can choose a different intention. And for each level, you get to choose a different intention if you want to. So you've got your macro and micro intention, and you're just calling things in. And the thing is, like, once they're out there, you give it time and those things come to you. Like, within a year of going through the spiral and going through practitioner training, I had already I'd already met someone. I'm now, like, in a loving relationship, like, after years of being single. And look at you, like, online, just shining your light, just like nailing it. And
thank you.
That's what happened. So, yeah, I'm really, like, interested in what you said as well around, you know, sometimes we go to a spiral practitioner because we think there's something we want to change in our life, but actually there's something else that it's linked to. So you'd mentioned the client came to you for marketing help, but actually there was stuff behind that needed to be cleared before the thing was going to take off. So are there any other kind of things that you have noticed through your client journeys where you're just like, oh, that's so awesome, like, I didn't even know that was possible, and look what the spiral's done for that person?
I think the biggest thing for me, like, witnessing clients go through it, was just like how they started uncovering all these little parts to their story. It's almost like the spiral makes you, like, open up old pages that maybe you suppressed or you didn't even know existed anymore. And then all of a sudden these things are coming up and you're opening them. And as you open that page and you start reading your own story again, it like allows you to know yourself on such, like, a deeper level. I remember, like, before I went through the spiral and stuff, like, seeing people that would remember so much from their childhood and all these stories. And I'm like, how did you live all this in one lifetime? Like, that seems like crazy. But now, after going through it and opening up all of those different parts of my story, I'm like, holy, like, every human has gone through so much in our lifetime. And I know, for me, when it came to the trauma aspect of it, like, most of them were all emotional traumas. So when it came to me feeling like I did have physical traumas, or, like, trauma in general, especially with the background of being a paramedic, I just always assumed physical traumas, right? But how much impact the emotional traumas actually have on us when it comes to, like, a breakup or a relationship ending, or even being a child and not having the communication to be able to communicate with our parents what's going on inside. Then we start, like, storing all this stuff in our bodies. So it's just, like, being able to see people start re-exploring their life journey has been really cool, to just be able to be a part of that and facilitating that, to help them find a greater understanding of who they are, which then helps them to find out exactly what it is that they want to do in their life. Because it's like everything that we've gone through in our life so far has been training for where we are today. And it's like, if we can fully understand that, it's like whatever is coming in the future, like, we're going to be able to handle, because we've been through what we've been through. But it's like giving ourselves credit for all of the stuff we've been through, and, like, deeply honoring our journeys. Like, that is really, like, where the true magic of all of it is. Because when we can start doing that, we start realizing we can get through anything, and we can start achieving anything that we want, and start doing anything that we want. Like, nothing is off the table when you can start coming from that place of just really, like, understanding that.
Oh, I loved that. I loved what you said about honoring the parts of ourselves that have gotten us to where we are today, and taking a moment and being like, well done, little one, you got to see
right
it. Yeah,
seriously.
so right, the spiral gives you that space to actually sit there and go, cool, like, how did I end up how I am? What are those little beliefs that I picked up along the way from these little experiences when I couldn't communicate what I needed, or I couldn't, you know, fully own my like, pain in that situation, and
Mm-hmm.
how has that affected the script that I'm living now? And
Yeah.
it's just, you just put that so beautifully, and you're so right. It's such a sacred experience with ourselves, of deep self-knowledge, and we're so empowered by that knowledge to go forward and create
Mm-hmm.
what we desire. So
Yeah.
Laura, thank you so much for sharing your incredible energy this morning. It's 11:11 over here.
Wow.
Yeah, so it just feels like the perfect time to allow you to go with your day and have dinner.
Totally.
But I just really want to thank you for sharing your energy and excitement and your service with the Spiral team. For anyone who's watching, if you're going to sign up to the Spiral experience that's on for 3 days over the next weekend, you might have nothing on. You just think, oh, I want some quick transformation. That's where to go. And you'll be able to bask in Laura's beautiful energy as she'll be supporting on the team there. Laura, do you have any last words or anything else you would like to share before you carry on with your day?
I just want to say thank you so much for, oh, sorry, what were you going to say?
Oh, no, please. I don't want to interrupt you. I'll say it at the end.
Okay, I was just going to say thank you so much for inviting me to come on here. It's honestly like, it's a pleasure to be able to share this work and to finally meet you. It's just been like amazing. So thank you for this conversation.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you. I really appreciate it as well. I know how busy everyone is, and for you to make the time, and of course, it's just always beautiful to meet other people in the community as well.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
lovely things about you from other practitioners who have journeyed with you. So and obviously, like, choosing a spiral practitioner is all about the energy vibe that you feel. So if you've been watching today and you're like, I'm just loving Laura's vibe, I just feel like I'd love to be in her energy more, obviously follow her and stay in her vibe, and you might end up working with her one day as a spiral, she might be your spiral practitioner. So hopefully we'll see some of you next weekend. Thank you so much, Laura. Have a beautiful day.
Thank you so much. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, Lisa. Thank you so much.
Bye.